Hello, this is Tom No Wetner. How you doing today? The conversationalist. Well, we've got something light and airy and fun to deal with today on Sunday here in upstate New York. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit that little bell. See, I got another one to say today. My granddaughter told me, "You're not telling them about the bell, Grandpa." All right, so I told you about the bell. Okay. So Sunday we kind of lay back here and watch football. We were talking about eating chicken wings. I think I made a most of a 40-pound case of chicken wings yesterday, and I heated them up today, obviously. And everybody's coming and going. It's a busy day here at the house, so they're eating chicken wings as they come and go. And I managed to get 6 of them, but that's another story. I hate chicken wings. I love chicken wings. I hate eating them. What a mess. I kind of bathe in it and I have to take a bath after I'm done. But anybody who loves chicken wings knows what I'm talking about, right? Got to dip them, got to put them in your mouth, got to make that motion where you're taking the chicken off the bone and spit the bone out. Otherwise, you're not hit from the hills. All right, let's talk. Last time we had a conversation was about the internet. Dun, 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 dun. And I got a lot of pushback. And a lot of it made sense. Now, I did talk to Josh, right? He was the other end of that. And I learned a lot and I had to change some of my views. Not all of them, ding, 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 but I did have to change some. So let's get the minutia out of the way. You got to vote, vote, vote to have a dog in the fight. Now, everybody says that the what I'm seeing is not what it is. The country is not split 50-50. I went, oh, okay, tell me what it is. So they say it all depends who you talk to. If you're talking to a conservative Republican, he's telling you me that it's 70% Trump, 30% for Harris. And if you're talking to Harris people, it's just the reverse. 70% are going for Harris and 30% are going for Trump. That's going to be the real voter turnout. You know what I learned? And I learned it really well the last conversation. You can't trust anybody on the internet. You can only listen to their thinking, their ideas, or whatever minutia they put out there, and time will tell you whether it's going to be true or not, or if they were, really informed or they were just guessing. All right, and I need to learn that. But but I have to talk about the good end of the internet and the funny end of the internet. Well, everybody's seen the old pictures, right? That's always they put up a dozen of them, and it's always funny. Or they'll put up these comedy sketches from the '60s and '70s. Did you see Laughing? Oh my God! Every time I see something from Laughing come in, I pop it up. It's just the funniest show when there was out there. But every time I see like even the shorts, I pop on them and look at them. And the other one was McHale's Navy. I haven't seen McHale's Navy in 40 years. But I get on there and I click on it, and the minute I click on it, now this is Ernest Borgnine is the actor, and he's an Academy Award actor for Marty. Tim Conway's on, and he's as hilarious as ever today as he was 30, 40 years ago. So I'm really enjoying that part of the internet. Of course, I can find every classic movie I ever wanted to see, so I can relive my childhood of going to the Victory Theater in Staten Island, New York. And for 50 cents, I got to see a cartoon, 2 movies, a cartoon between the movies, and for 10 cents, I could get a slice of pizza, and 15 cents, I could get back on the bus and go home. Cheap day, right? My mother would give us each $1 and say, leave me. It's Saturday. Go find something to do. Here's $1. So with $1 back then, you could do anything you want. So we actually got on the ferry from Staten Island to New York one time as a dare. There was 7 of us, and we just rode the bus down to the ferry terminal, got on the ferry, went across, walked around the Battery Park, got back on the ferry, rode back, went to the movies. My mom never knew we even were in the city. And I mean, I was like 10 years old. brother was older, obviously 3 years older, and his friends were there, and they instigated because I was this angel. I never did anything like that before, Mom. I'm telling you, I was sweet as you can be. I wouldn't disobey. You know, you said not to go in the city, so I didn't. Yeah. Anyway, so there's this thing, right, that we started because all the kids are close except like Henry and uh, a few others. Uh, Josh and Brandon's close, and then you take it from me. There's some that are close and some far away. Plus, then it's all the kids we adopted over the last 50 years. My wife collects them like figurines. Any kid that she finds that looks dirty and hungry, she feeds. I don't understand it, but that's what my mother used to do, and her mother, and their caregivers. The best is not to question these ladies, especially on the internet. You just say thank you very much, set another plate, and shut up. Okay. So anyway, so with the kids, they all have either iPads or Galaxy Pad. I believe me, I have no comprehension. They just bought me a pad, and you know what I know? I know how to turn it on. But they haven't downloaded all these programs I need yet on it, so they're supposedly going to do it this week. God knows what I'm going to use that for because I got a phone, I got a computer, I got this. I'm like techno wizard. Pretty soon I'm going to have this wall of things. Oh, that's the other thing. They found 3 old computer laptops. So we got to take them over to computer emergency room and figure out if they're worth saving or not, or if there's some. I know there's pictures on them. God, every computer we have has pictures. My wife is like a picture freak. Every grandbaby, every kid we had, she took rolls and rolls of film. Anyway, I digress. So the kids have their iPads, and the one rule is that between 6 in the morning and 8 at night, they can call me anytime they want. And the way they arranged that, which is really good, I didn't understand it until recently. They put my face on their screen, and they just have to hit the face, and they're automatically connected to my phone in a video call. How cool is that? I don't get to talk to just, the front of the phone. I get to see the child who's calling me, or sometimes the young adult who's in trouble calling me for help, or maybe one of my children are going, we're desperate. Can you help us? Or bail money, but that's another story. I always carried bail money. That's the way I was raised, because I often needed bail money. I almost needed it today in Walmart. Oh my God. Oh my God. Standing in Walmart. I kid you not. I shit you not. This guy, for whatever reason, was going on. And the couple behind him were, you could tell they were afraid. So they were backing up, and the people behind them were not backing up, and they're trying to put distance. And this guy goes, I don't know, for whatever reason, he was angry. He was angry with the teller, the checkout girl. And he just started on this couple. And I'm a gimp. Come on. I'm 5 foot nothing, and I look like a fire hydrant. Today I'm dressed like one. And I got 2 canes. I'm leaning on a cart so I don't fall down. So I'm not necessarily your toughest looking guy anymore. But I had to say something because I was in the next aisle over. So I said, yo, man. I said, first off, you're scaring the kids, so stop. If you have a problem, that's where customer services come in. You just walk over there. It's right there, right behind you. Go over there, get a hold of one of those girls. They'll straighten anything out you have a problem with. And then I guess he saw me and he saw the sticks in the cart, and he was like, "Shut up, old man! I'll take those sticks and bend them over your head." Well, the old Tom was just, that's the old Tom. But the new Tom, the born again Tom from my aortic dissection 3 years ago, says, "Do the second thing, Tom." You can always go back to the first thing. You can't redo those holes you're about to put in this person. You just don't do that anymore, Tom. So, meanwhile, while his anger is now focused off the teller on me, I figure, all right, let me keep this going. I want to make sure that he, keeps his focus on me. So I put a few pearls of wisdom, like, yes, I am old, and I got this way because I'm not stupid. And you, young man, need to go over to customer service before you have a sudden accident that we all have to call an ambulance for. Yes, I am slow and old and fat, but believe me, I got this way because I am who I am. So I'm just trying to be a dad. Why don't you go over to customer service and I'll go with you? And I'm trying to rush my teller or my checkout girl to get done so I can go over and with this guy, because I want him focused on me. Well, at that point, two cops show up. Young cop, probably in his 30s, and a cop looked like he was in his late 40s, early 50s, getting ready to retire, right? Both of them looked in pretty good shape. Even the old guy looked in pretty good shape. He wasn't a barrel cop. He was pretty well decked out. And they come through the door and they're marching down, and all of a sudden they're like right behind him, and the guy turns around, and the younger cop greets this kid like he's a long lost friend. And I'm like, my jaw hits the ground. And I'm thinking to myself, I just pew-pewed him in a minute ago, and now the cops are here. No, I didn't. I thought about it, but I didn't. So anyway, so they walk outside practically arm in arm. And I'm like, and this lady, this couple behind them and their two kids are like looking at me like wild-eyed. Like, and finally the girl says, thank you. And I said, I didn't do anything but, get his attention off you. I said, anybody can do that. I said, you just have to be calm. You have to be calmer than the person you're working with. She said, oh, okay, wait, thank you. And the little girl was smiling because she was crying pretty hard. So she was smiling. So I reached in my pocket and got two 20s out and gave each one of the little girls 20. I said, listen, I know there's something you want. So here, go get it before mom and dad leave. So they were probably 10 and 12, maybe. Couldn't have been much older than that, maybe younger, maybe 8 and 10, or I don't know. And this woman broke down in tears. And the father shook my hand. I thought he was going to pump my shoulder out. And my shoulder comes out real easy. So that was my escapade. But I know that at least 4 people were videotaping me. So I'm giving you a prior warning with this story. So you'll probably see me on the internet. Anyway, because there was people there with the cameras up. Nobody would intercede but me because I'm stupid. Anyway, so the kids hit my face, literally, and I get connected to them. I get to talk to them, which is like, if you think about it from, Nono's position, being the grandpa, I just, I love it. I mean, I get to talk to him anytime I want. And when I don't want to talk to him, I don't answer. Oh, ding, 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 ding. Yep. So let's salute the old man that's learning the internet and how to work it, including the phone and video call.
All right, this is a good time to just bring up St. Jude's. Say something nice about St. Jude's, Tom.
St. Jude just got another check from me from the cuss jar. It was $94.
Ah, light month for you.
94 flipping. But it wasn't all me though. The majority, back it up. The majority was me, but a lot of the money was some people that will maintain their anonymity or whatever that word is. But I want you to know that that's what St. Jude is. And then uh, after my Molly said, she wanted a shirt, she doesn't want one of the sweatshirts. She wants one of the t-shirts. So I got to do that because the t-shirts aren't going off sale, but the sweatshirts are.
And
So
we're
I think
talking
there's
about
one more
aortic
day.
hope now?
Aortic Hope, one day. Is there only one day left for the sweatshirts?
I can't recall their sale again.
I think it's only one day left. If I remember correctly, you got to get your shirts, or guess what's going to happen? You're not going to get this series. But she wants a purple with white lettering. I don't know if you guys can do that, but that's what she wants. My Molly gets what she wants, even if I have to have it printed up myself. But that will be in her stocking. I'll roll it up real tight and put a ribbon on it. I'm in charge of stockings. That's my only job. I have to fill the stocking. And in the last few years, I've been getting more money than presents. Gift cards and things like that. Amazon cards? They love them. Love game cards. Game cards. Oh my God, they love those. We have this place. It's an RC track. Well, there's like 6 tracks in this old uh, store. It's huge. It used to be an Ames department store. Now it's nothing but these RC tracks. So the older kids are into RC cars, and I get them a card to go there because each race is like, I think it's most of it's $10 a race, but because the kids are so young, they get it for like $4. But I don't know. I just get the cards. All I know is they're happy, right? Right. And I know each one of them what they like in candy, so I get them that. So I'm in charge of stockings. My wife, the red hair, green eyed Celtic witch, gets them everything else. Needless to say, Thanksgiving is my holiday. Christmas is my wife's holiday, and she does a big thing on Christmas. But I could care less about Christmas, to be honest with you. I just like to see them get their stockings. And now we got so many stockings, I had to build a ledge that goes over the hearth, 8-foot 2x4, and put hooks on it. So I have enough room to hang everybody's stockings. It's totally ridiculous. But you do what you have to do, right? So
Right.
they mash my face. Oh, I love it. And they talk to me and they tell me about their day, and or they'll tell me about their problems, or they'll tell me this kid needs to be terminated because he's bullying him. Anything they want to talk about, right? And being a good grandpa, I listen. What else can you do? You can't agree with them. You can't disagree with them. You have to be able to let them take responsibility for what they say and what they feel. That's how you raise strong kids. You don't protect them from what they're going through. You teach them how to get through it. At least that's the way my parents did it, and I did it with my kids. My kids are not doing quite a good job as on my grandchildren as I did on them, but then they have grandpa to redo everything and make sure the kids are growing up strong and safe and a little bit of danger. You know, kids need a little bit of danger. It's like, don't touch the stove, they're hot. And then they touch the stove finally when you're not around. It's hot. Now you know. It's like the first penknife. My oldest son, I gave him a jackknife, and it was a real honest to goodness jackknife. It had 2 blades, it was sharp, and it had a bone handle, and you fold them out, fold them in, and it was a great knife. But he cut himself. Well, he went to his mom, and mom patched him up, and they agreed not to say anything to me. So I was out sharpening my knife one day, and I said to him, "Give me your knife, I'll put an edge on it." Well, like most kids his age, I guess he was around 8. He didn't clean the blood off it. Silly mistake. That's a really silly criminal mistake. Always get rid of the evidence. You know, I tell them over and over again, don't talk to the cops, get rid of the evidence, take a shower, burn the closure in, and call grandpa, right? It's real simple. Don't talk to the cops. Get rid of the clothes you have on. Take a shower and call me. We can solve any problem after that. Boy, there are people rolling over right now wanting to get to me. Yeah, all these safe space mommies and daddies. Come for me. I'm in that mood today. Anyway, so I very much enjoy that part of the internet. I do. I do. I do. I do. I love it. Today, Craig Richards is downstairs putting in my third stovetop because the first two from Home Depot didn't work. So he's installing the third one just so my wife doesn't make a voodoo doll and start sticking it. All right. So that's how we manage things here. We manage things by whether they help us or hinder us. And there's a lot of things about the internet that help us. And I very much appreciate it. It's like YouTube. I mean, I can look anything up on YouTube, even stuff I know, and figure out, holy mackerel, they got a better way of doing this. Or that's stupid. I'd never do that. Your house blow up in 2 weeks. Yeah. I see a lot of dumb shit too on the internet. And by the kids interacting with me when they're coming home from school or whatever, I know they're not online just surfing or they're not on their computer playing games. Because we have a rule, you come home, you get something to eat, you play for an hour, and then you have to hit your homeworks or the books or whatever you have to do. You have to take care of the dog. You have to make sure the barn is locked up and all the animals are in for the night. Then you can come back in, you eat dinner, and then, if there's time, if your parents haven't picked you up, you can go play again. But we don't allow marathon times on the computer. We kind of try, we don't restrict it, but we try kind of break it up. You understand that? You can't say you can't go on the internet unless it's a punishment, obviously. You have to structure their time like everything else. You wouldn't want to play baseball for 12 hours a day or football or whatever it is, ride your bicycle. Even with the internet, you got to pace yourself, right? You got to get away from it and get other interests and kind of round yourself out because the internet can become all consuming, right? Am I down the right path? Because I'm brand new here. So we're 20 minutes in, and I'm going to say like, subscribe, comment, and share this with somebody that you like, and share it with somebody you don't like, and hit the bell so you get notifications. Aortic Hope, last day for the sweatshirts. Come on, guys, support them, put them over the top. Maybe your one order will put them over their goal. Wouldn't that be nice? And then St. Jude, well, you know, 80% of the kids that walk in St. Jude are cured and walk out. 80%. When they first opened, when Danny Thomas first opened St. Jude, it was only 20%, barely 20% walked out of that hospital. Because they didn't know anything and nobody was cared about childhood cancer. Nobody was doing any research. It was just whatever worked for adults worked for kids. And Danny Thomas came along and said, no, there's got to be a better way of treating kids with cancer. And he put his money where his mouth is. He said, when he became an actor, if I become successful, I'm going to do this. And he did it. I don't know anybody that does that anymore. I mean, that's talk about 50s bullshit. This is, Danny Thomas, World War II vet. If he said he was going to do something, you better get the hell out of the way. Or you better get in lockstep with him because he's going to go over you, under you, around you, or through you to get what he wants to get done. Like all World War II vets, the greatest generation. So now 80% of the kids that go in, and they're doing so many other things now because they're doing so well with childhood cancers. There's all these other fields of childhood diseases that they're taking care of, and they're investigating and researching. There's like 19 buildings now, and I think 9 of them are hospitals, and 10 of them are research facilities. Can you believe it? From this little dinky place that Thomas opened up, they have a whole campus now. Not only of hospitals, but research buildings and affiliations with everybody around the world so that people can come there and present their papers and they'll support them to do their research. I mean, if you're a parent of a child with any kind of disease, I don't care what it is, and you apply into uh, St. Jude, you are automatically accepted. But what does that mean? What that means is they bring your child and you and your spouse and whatever children are in the family, and they support you 100%. Food, housing, clothing. They support the entire family of that child because they found the children rehab faster and better when they have their family around. And for a while there, back in the 80s and 90s, people couldn't afford to do this. They couldn't afford to take off work. But I don't care what how sick your child was, you had to work to maintain your lifestyle. So isn't that wonderful? So that's Aortic Hope is a excellent uh, association that saved my ass at a critical time. They showed me that not only do I have to, it's okay to change who I am and what I do, but it's also okay to laugh. And I had lost my sense of humor. I had lost other tracks, the things that make us wonderful and diversify our lives. And the beauty of it is you get to joke around for an hour or two and have some fun with people who can't come get you. Because they're on the internet, they can't come get it. Okay. So all the grandchildren today are going to homecoming. And then they'll be back here about 6 o'clock. And they'll be starving again. And me being the Italian grandfather, I already got a plan to feed them and hopefully introduce a little Benadryl in and they can go home. No, we don't do that anymore. I used to Benadryl my kids when we went on vacation, just 4 hours a piece while we were driving, but you're not supposed to do that anymore. So scratch that. I didn't say to Benadryl any kids because that's not good. Telling them to lay down and go to sleep, or you're going to smack them across the face. That's not what you're supposed to do anymore either. Let's face it, we're in a new world. And Superdog Cooper is going to have an extra training session this week. He's going to have 3 instead of 2 because him and mom got into it yesterday. He was so bad. Every time she told him to do something, he did the opposite. And then she was making the bed, and somebody lifted her leg and peed on her brand new cover. See, they're competing for alpha status. See, I'm the alpha, always been the alpha, because I will take him and wring his neck. But she's, you know, she wants to be his friend. I said, you can't be his friend. He's a big dog. You got to be his boss. You have to be the alpha. Well, right now he's 8 months old, so he's still challenging her for the alpha space. But lifting his leg and taking a pee on her brand new comforter was not the way to do it. So I think there's a hole somewhere in the roof where she skyrocketed. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a hole in the roof that's got to be fixed. And somehow he survived. Somehow she didn't kill him. And that's a good thing because I would have wasted all that time in training if she had. But right now, she doesn't want to see or hear from him. So he's up here with me, locked in. Kind of understand it's like being in jail in protective custody. I'm keeping them apart. So anyway, yeah, I got to meet all these people from across the country that remark on my stuff, and on X. X has been really good. It's fertile land. I like that. And of course, I'm back on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, and haven't been on that in many years. And then I went back on Facebook. I had sworn 10 years ago I would never go back on Facebook. Facebook has changed a little bit, I noticed. So I actually have some good conversations, but there's a lot of trolls. You got to be careful. I've been sucked in twice now. So I got to learn a little bit more about the sophistication of trolls. I think I'll write a book about how to deal with trolls on the internet by Tom, the conversationalist. No, I won't do it because it takes too much time. So anyway, I keep saying so anyway. What is that all about today? I don't know why I'm saying that. It's like that girl on it in the White House keeps saying, "I'll get back to you." Okay, so I'm talking about the internet today and the good things about it and the connectivity. That's a new word I got. Connectivity of everybody on. And like I said, I'm talking to people in Germany. I'm talking to people in Spain. I'm talking to people in Australia, and there's this guy over in Vietnam who's just funny as all get out, and he's expat, expat. He's an American, but he's married to a Vietnamese girl, and he lives with the extended family. There's like, God, somewhere between 15 and 20 people live in it. It's a good sized house. Don't get me wrong, and it's on a farm, but that's where he lives. So privacy is one of those things that he doesn't get much of. However, I gotta go. I gotta go. I was talking to my friend Molly, who's a stewardess, and we were planning a trip. And I was saying I don't want to go. Never been to Tahiti and never been to New Zealand. Man, after the pictures he showed me of Vietnam, I would love to go there. Just the street food, the market. Oh, as a chef, I'd be fat and happy. So I got to talk to my friend Molly and see what she says. I don't know if she goes to Vietnam or not. Maybe I'll just take a trip to Tahiti with her and take like 7 days and go to Vietnam. Because I got to take the redhead, green-eyed Celtic witch, and I got to take the dogs. There's 3 seats. It's halfway around the world, so that's probably going to cost me a pretty penny. But I have the money and I have the time, so why not do it? Right, right. And wouldn't podcasts be great from over there? I'd be sitting over there in the street market, just recording and sending them back, and Josh would bring them up there. Oh man, so cool. I want to talk to my New York Chefs Association. I hear you loud and clear. I can redo my series that I did on TikTok, the Chef's Hands. If they get the stovetop in and it works, I will quickly record 3 or 4 chef's hands and put them on, have Josh post them, and we'll start that series from TikTok. It was always fun to do for me, and everybody seemed to think it was fun. And they also like the clips of the old movies I show when I'm working. And of course, being a 1950s, 60s DJ, I play great music. But the unique character was that I come on and say hello, and then for the next 20 or 30 minutes, you only see my hands. And then at the end, we'll always have a glass of wine or espresso and have a little conversation about what we did, and we go out. But, however, it's all contingent that they get my summer kitchen up and running. What an aggravation. Everything is made so haphazardly nowadays. I remember you bought a stovetop. Thing weighed as much as a battleship. It needed 2 people to install it, and it worked. This one, the base is all aluminum. It's sealed, but it's just aluminum. It's light. I mean, the grates that go on are cast iron, and the flame control is much better than we had years ago in the commercial kitchens. However, One person can install it. And it's electrical connection and a gas connection. That's it. We used to have to put thermostats in and cutaways and cutoffs. And believe me, we took a job that took half a day and we got it down to an hour. These guys are so good. This is the third one they're putting in. They're so good now that they can take it out and put it in with their eyes closed. Because, like I said, it's just an electrical connection and a gas connection. And then you take everything out of the box and assemble it, clean it up, and it burns. That's a kitchen term, burn. You know, burn this, burn that. But that's another story. Well, my oh gosh, Sammy said that he wants me to do uh, a series of chefs in the kitchen. He says I want you to tell your funny stories and get us to understand what you're talking about when you're talking about burning something, or you're talking about expo, or you're talking about cleaning with a toothpick and a toothbrush, and you know all those weird things. If you've been watching that series, The Bear, that's probably the best show about the interaction between people in the kitchen and the actual kitchen and the front of the house, which are critical relationships. The people you work with in the kitchen and the people that are out front that you have to work with too. Now, the people in the kitchen are stoic and wonderful people that drink too much. But the people in the front of the house are snobby, you know, obsessive compulsive people. And that's who you want. You want somebody that's just there, who knows every ingredient of your dish, who can give it a very colorful uh, presentation so people will buy it. And so you have these personalities, right? And I'm meeting them on the internet, and I'm meeting them years later, and they fill me in what they have done. And some are still working in kitchen, some are retired, and some have gone on to buy kitchens and restaurants and bars, and others have just gotten out of the field, which that's the majority, because it's a burnout job that you only get paid 30 or 40,000 for now, when we used to get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do. Right? The Food Network put the kibosh on that. Something it was for me, it rescued me from a lot of things in my life, owning restaurants and bars. But it also gave me a lot of free time that I could do a lot of off the books things, let's say. I had the freedom that I could do and investigate and learn other things. Because most days I would get in around 8 o'clock, but I already had chefs in there, you know, the prep chefs, the pastry chef, around 2 o'clock, here comes Garnet and the guys to set up their stations, their saute and grill and all that. And now with the internet, get back to the internet, you can see all this. They have cameras in the kitchens. Just look it up. You can watch people setting up their kitchens. You can see the guy mopping the floor in the morning. You can see the guys coming in with all the supplies and putting them out. You can see the pastry chef coming in and the Garnet. And then around 3 o'clock, you can see all the other line chefs coming in. It's just amazing to watch now. I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by the new things and the new way of doing things. I'm fascinated, but the personalities are all the same from the 70s. It's just now it's 2024, but the personalities are the same. Isn't that wonderful? There's a continuum of all these great characters in the kitchen, and you need these characters because everybody is not an expert on everything, right? The guy who runs the Charborough can't run the saute station to save his life. But if you put somebody new on the fry station, he's going to overcook everything. which drives me nuts. All you're doing is breading and dropping and drying. Why are you, why are you cooking the shrimp until it's hard enough to kill somebody? You know, there's a chart in front of you. Don't cook it any longer. Don't kill this stuff. But that's where you usually start on the fry station because it's the one that you can screw up the most. And if you're the new guy at the fry station, everybody throws things at you and screams at you because you're holding up the ticket. But that's another story. So the internet makes it possible for me to relive it. Now, this thing with Bear, he's got everybody saying chef, 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 chef. If I had that in my kitchen, I swear to God, people would be catching knives. I'm the only chef in the kitchen. I am the leader of the band. I am the head of the orchestra. When I speak, everybody shuts up. When I need a response, it's yes, chef, or moving chef, or whatever. I don't want to hear chef to chef talking on line chef, charbroiler to fry station. I have to walk another, whatever. No, I don't want to hear that bullshit. That's too much words. All I want to hear is ticket number 65. I need 2 of this, and it's walking in 2 minutes. Because I'm on the other side of that counter, that expo station, with my 2 people who are going to dress the plate and send it out. And if you send me up 4 or 6 plates, I have to go to the same table. You're backing me up. You're ruining the other 4 meals. You understand how that works? And I am death on not coordinating and getting the food out there. 1, perfect. 2, looking good, and always hot. Unless it's a cold dish. You wouldn't want to make a Caesar salad on a hot plate, right? But other foods need to be on a hot plate because by the time they get to the table, you don't want to eat cold food. I hate when there's a beautiful presentation of food and it comes out, it's supposed to be nice and hot, and it's not. I only go to 1 or 2 diners in the area because they make these beautiful omelets and then they put them on cold plates. What the hell is that all about? And if you say something, they'll take them back and put them in the microwave. What the hell is that all about? Now you got a beautiful omelet that's rubbery and tasteless. Everybody uses bottled sauces now. I was looking at this one. Everything in there was pre-manufactured on his what they call the spice rack. We used to make our own chef salt and seasonings and hot sauce and mayonnaise. Mayonnaise, oil, eggs, a little lemon juice, put it in the mixer, let it mix until it gets fluffy. That's mayonnaise. Before Hellmann's came out with the jar mayonnaise or whomever you use, we made our own mayonnaise. You're going to love this story because I put it on the internet and it got a lot of reviews. Just a little blob I put on. I had a waitress. This was probably early 70s, mid 70s. And she said to me, "We're out of half and half." I said, "Well, make some." She says, "What's the recipe?" So at the time, I had a really good sous chef. That's the guy that takes my place when I'm not in the kitchen or day off or whatever. And I always had a rule that the sous chef had to be bigger than me so he could restrain me from killing people. So I looked at this girl because before they commercially used half and half, we made it. It was something that upscale restaurants did instead of just giving you milk. So I looked at her and I said, okay, well, if I was going to make it, I would do a gallon of milk to a gallon of cream, put it in the mixer on low and just mix it up, and then put it in the dispensers. So that's half and half. That's the recipe. She looked at me with this blank look and said, "Can you write that down?" At this point, my sous chef has me around the neck. 2 of the line chefs are coming around the line because they want to get between me and this new waitress. Plus, the captain is in the kitchen because of another reason, and he quickly grabs this girl by the shoulder and takes her out to the front of the house because at that point I'm backed up at least 2 tickets, maybe three, and this woman's asking me to write down the recipe for half and half. So I'm going to do a series on that. I got all those stories. It's like, you actually have to tell new people, even if they're culinary trained, not to catch falling knives. Or the one I love is I'll say to all the new people, listen, everything's hot and everything's sharp. When you come into my kitchen, I don't care if you just took it out of the walk-in. Everything once it gets in the kitchen is hot or sharp. The side of the counters, the stainless steel gets sharp, or you run your fingers across it, you're going to get cut. Obviously, knives. That's another thing I put on the internet that got a lot of response from all these chefs all over the world going, yes, yes, that's what we do. This one guy from Germany, he was hysterical. He had stories out the wazoo about Americans working on the bases over there, and they would come in and be his short order cooks because he had an American cuisine menu. And he says they were great cooks and they did great food, but they were so hard to teach the basics to because they were used to, cooking in sloppy joes or, way, the diner. And he was just, you could tell by, he was so well presented and his English was so good. And he got this real big handlebar mustache. Very impressive man. But his stories were hysterical. Oh, God. On another topic, Craig Richards. The Richards family settled this valley, 1700s, and they even have roads named after him. And Craig Richards is a good friend of mine. Diane Richards is his wife, and Craig's a big hunter. I mean, he's got dogs and he hunts everything that moves. And right now, he's finishing up a season, so it looks like next week I'm going to have him on the air so he can tell you a little about the Richards family and this area. And he can tell you what I primarily want him to do is just go through the whole season, you know, deer and coyote and duck and rabbit and bear and turkey. If he goes through the whole season, just tells, what he's seen and what he caught and what he didn't get. I can't say what he didn't get. This guy is an amazing hunter. Anyway, and like I said, he has dogs, so he's very sophisticated in his hunting methods, and he cleans and dresses everything out and uses it. He gets culling tags and donates a lot of food to the homeless shelters and the food banks and the veterans. I mean, he's a good man. He's my age. He's a little beat up, got arthritis in his spine, having trouble with his teeth right now, but hopefully he's going to have it fixed. And but he's down to earth, and he's that guy that you can have a beer with or a cup of coffee or just sit on the back porch and just for an hour just put your feet up and have a great conversation with. So hopefully he'll be on. I hope he's going to be on Wednesday. He said that he's going to try to open his schedule. So if you can tune in on Wednesday, you'll get to meet a guy who is a real hill person. Actually, he's his property right now is on the side of the hill. And around here, when I mean hill people, you got the people that live in the valley, and you have the people that live up on the top. Well, the people on the bottom look down on the people on the top because the fertile land's on the bottom and the not so good land's on the top. And they have property everywhere in the county. So all you can do is call him a hillbilly. And he's a hill person. Like we say we're hill people. And we still do a lot of old things. We barter, we hunt for our food and we grow our food. The only thing that's changed is, internet, lights, but basically we're still hill people here. I wasn't born a hill person. I was raised in New York City, but I found this 40 years ago. because this is where the Celtic witches family lived. So I saw how pretty the place was, so I started buying land. And when I retired, I came up here. It's a medical desert, though. I have to go to Albany, and I have to go Monday. Got to be there at 9:30 in the morning, and then I got to be back in time to make Josh happy. It's gonna be a crazy day. So I have Parnelli Jones. You know who Parnelli Jones is? He was a famous race car driver from the 70s and 80s. His name is Parnelli Jones. Uh, that's what I call my wife because it's either 80 miles an hour or it's nothing. So I got to shoot up to Albany and get back in time for Josh and make all the, because I have something called, they suspect I have something called PAD. Now, Josh is going to tell you about the organization that I've been watching for the last 5 weeks. Can't believe I've been watching their series for 5 weeks. Isn't that amazing? I'm on the internet. I'm dumb as a brick. And I find this PAD. And when I click onto it, what is the first thing I hear? Josh's voice. How is that possible? I didn't ask him about it. I wasn't looking for Josh. Why is he intruding in my life? All
First
right, Josh,
off,
what's the name of it?
this is the Global PAD Association. You can reach them at padhelp.org. And it is a group that is founded by Kim McNicholas, an Emmy Award winning journalist whose father was diagnosed with peripheral artery disease. And the story goes, as I understand it, he was being slated for an amputation, and Kim McNicholas was like, "What are you talking about? I feel like there's more that we can do," and found out all about this disease and how this disease is something that if you are afflicted with is what they call a terminal illness. This doesn't mean that it'll kill you. What it means is you're going to die with it, right? And it's a progressive disease. And of all of the diseases in the world, this is a disease that a person who has can be their own best self advocate by walking a lot, because this disease will close the arteries below the knee and it will choke off oxygen to the leg. And eventually, if you get an injury, whether it's a scratch or you step on a rock and it's an abrasion, because you're not getting good, fresh, oxygenated blood to the extremity, it takes forever to heal. And if it takes forever to heal, it is going to get infected. And if it gets and maintains an infection, it will grow to the point where they will require that they start taking parts of your body off. But if you start getting amputated and you have PAD, this is a worst case scenario because you need to walk. You have to build something called collateral arteries. Your body will create these because as you use your feet, your body will demand that oxygenated blood makes it down there.
Okay, so there's the premise, right? There's another, what is it called? The Weight of My Heart or something like that.
That's the operating name. The operating name is The Weight of My Heart. And because she was trying to make sure that people found her, she started to play with the search engine algorithms. And she bought the domain PADHelp, PAD help.
Wonderful, wonderful. And now you, once again, let's get back to the internet, the good and the bad and all that stuff, right? So one day I was watching one of the videos, and I think it was last Tuesday. So I called up my vascular surgeon, who's top-notch guy. However, I found out that PAD interventional radiologists and thoracic surgeons, vascular surgeons, have a little bit of a back and forth. So, ding, 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 ding. They had mentioned a study. So obviously, me being me, I reached out to whoever's running the study to find out where the closest was. And it's Philadelphia. That's 4 hours away by car. It's like 38 minutes by plane. So the grandkids were watching it with me. So they've taken it upon themselves that if I come back and I do have this PAD, which I kind of hope that it does, but then I hope it doesn't. It's one of those things you're betwixt and between. Nobody wants bad news, right? So if I do have it, they have a walking schedule for me. Don't you love it? Every day somebody else is in charge. And I guess the first one I have to walk 100 feet up and down Porter Avenue. Or I have to take the four-wheeler out to the barn and then walk from the barn to the cold house and back to the barn. It's a hard tack trail, you know. It's been run over for the last since the 1700s, so it's really packed down, so it's almost like concrete, so it'll be easy to walk on. Uh, they they also talked about one of those machines you walk on. I don't know what they call them, but I'm not doing that. I don't care if you put a TV in front of me. I'm not doing that. If I'm going to walk, I'm going to walk. I'm not walking in front of a TV screen. It's just not happening. That's not who I am, and I don't wish to be that person. So, two things. I get to see if I have PAD in my left leg because my foot is turning in, and it's always it's always red, but sometimes it's purple. So that kind of scares me. I've seen that with people who have diabetes, but never had diabetes. Never been a problem for me. Don't even doesn't come into my because I eat a Mediterranean diet, and I think that has a lot to do with it. A lot of vegetables, a lot of fish, a little bit of really good pork, with marbling in it, not the new pork, the new chicken. Uh, and my beef is very clean beef because we raise it and slaughter. So I think my diet is good. I think I'm just because of the aortic dissection and lack of blood flow to my legs. I think they fixed everything in time except for the one going down my left leg. But I don't know because I just found out about this a month ago. I just got involved. I just figured out, hey, that sounds like me. Da 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 da. So now I go see the vascular surgeon, and there is another group within the group that does PAD, and they're part of a study, which isn't part of the study that they're involved with, but it's a study out of another hospital for another pharmaceutical. I don't understand. I don't care. As long as they give me some relief from the pain, because right now, 11 to 20 steps and I have to stop dead. I can't. I have to wait till the pain passes. Sometimes I have to actually, you know, get the witch's cream, which is essential oils and coconut cream, and I have to rub it on my leg to get the pain gone, and then I can walk some more. But that's kind of inconvenient to drop your pants in Walmart and rub cream on your legs, and then you can't do that. People don't like that. You sitting in Walmart and dropping your pants, just rubbing cream on your legs. Even if you have a pair of shorts on, I think it's your underwear, and that doesn't go over well with the ladies and their children. Some of the guys just point and laugh, but that's another story. Well, we're coming up on the hour mark. Isn't that scary? I've been talking for an hour. I didn't even know how to turn this flipping thing on 2 years ago. Isn't that scary? And now here I am talking to you. I see. I'm looking at my email scrolling. You know, you're supposed to use the Terran Media. Not my personal emails anymore, guys. But I see them scrolling up, and I see all the names of the new people I know, and how much I'm going to enjoy talking to them about this little foray into the fun of the internet. I hope that the older people in the audience get some confidence, about going online, and it's not as scary a place as I thought it was. And there is things that you have to be careful with. And I'm not saying everything's good, but be cautious. Get yourself an IT person. You know, my daughter is my IT person. My grandchildren, two of them are IT people. One of my spouses, children's wives, is a great IT person. So I always have somebody to ask, hey, this is what I see, this is what I'm doing, and they go, don't do that anymore. Get out of there. That's always fun. See them panic. Listen, like, subscribe, comment, share. Hit the bell button so you know when I'm online. Support St. Jude and Aortic Hope. I mean, good organizations doing good things. Why not? You got a few extra dollars at the end of the month. Just stick it in an envelope, wrap it in a piece of paper, and send it off to St. Jude. They'll be happy to get it. They don't care whether you send them $100 or $10, as long as something helps these children out, right? That's an act of kindness. And if you do it, you'll feel good and somebody else will benefit from it, right? That's what all the act of kindness is. Just you doing something that doesn't take a lot of effort, but you know you're doing something good, right? And we all love that. We all love to be able to help people, but it doesn't become a burden. As soon as it becomes a burden, you stop, right? All right, Josh, clean this up. Tell the people that you actually like me. Being the Wizard of Oz, nobody gets in to see the wizard. Not anybody. Vote, vote, vote. You got a dog in the fight. Be prepared for whatever happens after election day. Okay, just be safe. I wanted you all to come back to my presentations and send me the shitty grams because I enjoy those the most. Joshua,
It's
my
a great show
friend,
today.
my brother, all God's blessings. I appreciate you. And guess what? Talked to the young lady that's going to be doing the voiceovers. Never understood what voiceovers are until I watched a few videos. It's pretty cool that these people actually do this stuff, and it really comes out sharp. And you can have it professional or funny or incisive or whatever. Isn't it wonderful? I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Be safe. You got a new week coming up. You got election day. Be safe, be safe, be safe. All God's blessings. Tom the Wetner, the conversationalist. I'm out of here. I'm going to go do something fun. Bye.